These are 5 amazing art tips that I know you've never heard, and they'll help you improve your art. Because drawing can be hard. You have to learn things like lines and shapes and values and textures and a bunch of other stuff. This is not even the half. And before you ever even make a little bit of progress, you're probably gonna hate a lot of your art. And I mean a lot. I'm Ant217 and I promise you, the tips you're gonna hear today are gonna help you so much. And if you heard all 5 of them, then I will reward you with a kiss. Never mind, that one is for free. And while I tell you these tips, I'm gonna be working on an amazing artwork using these tips. So wait till the end for the final reveal because it's probably my best artwork ever. If you're like me, then you probably have searched the internet to try to improve your art, and you end up finding the same tips and tricks over and over and over again. But not this time. Tip number 1. Learn how to see. I know, hear me out. I know what you're thinking. Oh, but Ant, I have 20/20 vision. I can see. But I'm not talking about eyesight here. I'm talking about learning how to see, how to observe, and how to understand your references. Understand what it is that you are looking at. Draw what you see, not what you think you see. For example, most of you know what a horse looks like. But if I ask you to draw a horse without a reference, will it look like a horse? I know I can't do it. I actually participated in a boot camp by one of the great artists here on YouTube, Ross Draws. In one of the earlier classes, he taught how to look at your reference. And honestly, that one class made me go from drawing like this to drawing like this. When I say learn how to see, I mean really look at your reference. Don't just take a reference and look at it and just try to copy it or reference it. Look at the angle of every line and see how they relate to the next line. See how they relate in length to the next line. This will help you so much when trying to draw from references. So study those lines and those shapes as much as you can and learn how to see. So take your ruler, take your pencil and measure that line, measure the angles, measure everything. And this may be tedious at first, but eventually you're not gonna actually need to measure the lines exactly. You will just be able to see it. So you won't need any of these tools. Let me know down below in the comments if you heard that tip. And if you have, don't worry. Tip number 5 is going to catch you by surprise. It's the best tip and it's my favorite tip. Tip number 2 is take the other route. There are a lot of tutorials out there online on learning how to be a better artist, and a lot of them use pretty much the same technique, the same strategy. They usually go like this: draw guidelines, draw the shapes, and then bada boom, bada bang, you are an amazing artist. But sometimes drawing something like this is not really easy, even when you use those guidelines and those shapes to help you. So what do? You go another route. And what I mean by taking the other route, I mean using the other information in that reference, like drawing the negative space. It's hard to show you this and tell you, hey, you, draw that. But I'm pretty sure you can draw this. This is simple, this is easy, and it's the same line that you need to draw this. So I drew the negative space, I drew the lines and the angles on the outside of the character. I took the other route. And now that I have those lines or those shapes, then I can go into the inside of the character and draw the character based on those lines and those angles, using what I learned from tip number 1, learning how to see. But taking the other route is not only limited to the negative space. When I say use the other route, I mean really use any information outside of the original guidelines that you know you can see. Anything that can help you. For instance, the shadow shapes. Drawing the shadow shapes can help you figure out the angles of other lines as well. And you also have light shapes. If you do this enough, every time you get stuck on drawing the complexities of a character, then you will get to the same results as if you just tried drawing head on. You will get to the same results that you hope for, the same destination, by just using another route. Tip number 3, draw what scares you. Draw your insecurities. And by the way, you don't need to be insecure. You're beautiful. Another freebie, but that's the last one. When I say draw your insecurities, I mean draw things that you are afraid of. Draw things that make you uncomfortable. Like, for instance, when I was young, I used to hide my characters' hands in their pockets or behind their back, or just simply put them behind some fog. Because I was scared of drawing hands. I didn't like the way they ever came out, and I felt like if people saw my bad hands, they would just think everything about my art is horrible. so it made me uncomfortable. So I just avoided drawing it altogether. And if I was required to draw feet, then I would have them maybe standing in some water or behind a rock or something. Because feet are gross. Sorry, feet people. No judgment though. But learn how to draw the things that you are not comfortable with, because when you finally conquer that thing, you will find a newfound confidence in yourself and in your artwork. Confronting your fears through your art can help lead you to a personal breakthrough and a newfound confidence in your abilities as an artist. When you figure out how to draw that one thing that you've been avoiding for so long, when you finally get it, you get so much confidence and you feel like you can draw anything. Until you bump into something else that you don't like drawing. And then you have to do it all over again. But then that's called progress. But there's other examples than just drawing things that you don't know how to draw. I mean things like drawing in a hyper-realistic style if you are more of a stylized artist. Drawing hyper-realistic characters is so difficult, but you can learn so much from it. This will help you progress as an artist, and maybe you find a new love for those things. I still hate drawing feet though. Ugh. Tip number 4. I want you to become a mad scientist. And I know we are just artists, but I want you to become a mad scientist because I need you to experiment in this art journey. I want you to experiment with weird and unorthodox techniques. Every time you do any of these weird experiments, you take and you leave things that you like and things that you dislike, and you add them to your everyday artworks. And you may never use these things again, and that's okay as long as you learned from it. And if you are a digital artist, you can do these experiments as well by using a strange brush you never use, or a group of strange brushes, or even a layer style that you never used before. Try to make something beautiful by using those weird brushes and those weird styles. And just because you draw digitally, that doesn't mean you can't pick up a pencil from time to time and draw on paper. Do some traditional artwork as well. I know it can be scary, especially when you haven't done it in so long, but you learn something new every time you pick up that pencil. Even if it's just how to control that line weight, how to control the steadiness of your lines. You don't have a stabilization tool when you're drawing traditional. And definitely no undo. Ugh. But please be careful when you're doing some experimentation. I don't want you guys doing a whole artistic piece using, I don't know, your snot. That's nasty. And although I've never drawn or done anything artistic with my snot, I do have a book called Boy Awesome and the Snotpocalypse, where I teach kids how to be a good friend, a good person, and also how to draw. With these amazing how to draw pages directly into the story. So if you have a young reader who loves to draw and wants to learn how to draw cartoons, please buy my book, Boy Awesome and the Snotpocalypse. It's now available on Amazon. And now on to my final tip and my most important tip, and the tip that helped me most. Tip number 5. You suck. There, I said it. You're terrible. You suck. Now I also say that to the greats like Ross Draws or Sam Does Arts or Leonardo da Vinci. You all suck. And the reason I say this is because when I drew this, I thought I was amazing. And yes, I know, it's bad. Really bad. And because of this, I didn't try to improve because again, I thought I was so good. I thought I was perfect. And again, I know I drew this. Sorry. And because I had that mindset that I was perfect, I thought no one could teach me anything because, well, I was the greatest artist alive. And for those of you who actually have amazing art, I still want you to keep that mindset that you suck. Because if you do that, you won't stay stagnant and you will always strive to improve. They say practice makes perfect, but I don't like that. I say practice makes progress. Because once you are perfect, there's nothing above that. You're creating a ceiling. But if you continue to progress, you will never stop getting better. So for the greats like Ross Draws or Sam Does Arts, who a lot of us think are amazing, great artists, even they can improve. So if they keep that mindset of they suck, then they will never stop that grind that they had when they were children, when they were art babies, when they were actually terrible. If they keep that grind, they will constantly keep improving. Now, I'm not telling you to put yourself down. We are already our worst critics, but I just want you to keep that grind that you had when you thought you really were terrible. So even though you suck, even though they suck, even though I suck, I'm awesome. I think. And if you like this sort of thing, you can watch this video right here where I teach more tips on how to draw fan art. Thanks for watching.